How you doing? I know I've been tweeting about a lot of stuff, so I just wanted you to hear it for yourself. So, uh, it's gonna ask my dad some questions, and just like I got a list that I prepared for this. So, and I bet you that this is gonna be a big favor to me because I asked him to do this, and you know, so and I bet you that's gonna be a big favor to me. So the first thing that I was gonna ask you was about your mom's hotel in La Rochelle.
My grandmother's?
Your mom's.
Oh, my hotel in La Rochelle, France. It's on on the Atlantic Ocean. We went there after my parents came back from Africa. They stayed there 5 years during the war, and I was there during the German occupation. I was born in 1935, and the Germans came in 1940. The hotel in La Rochelle was really, really pretty, and we left it after 2 years for the United States via Venezuela.
What about your grandmother's pizza?
Yeah, my grandmother was from Castellamare di Stabia, Italy, so she made these little pizzas with anchovies, tomatoes, and mushrooms, and she folded them to keep the moisture in. They're really, really nice.
And what about the bumps?
The,
The bumps?
the bomb.
Yeah, the bumps. Your friend.
Oh, we during the war, we would steal uh, bombs and we would open them and do designs on the road and light them up, and we would make all kinds of designs. My friend used one of the bombs to get a nail out of his shoe, and it exploded in his face, and he died.
I know you didn't want to talk about the paratroopers.
Huh?
You didn't want to talk about the paratroopers.
The prayer?
The paratroopers. You
No.
didn't want to talk about that. Okay, what about the plane ride to Venezuela? Did you want to talk about that? I know it. I
The
think it's funny. I think it. Well, it's not funny, but I
what?
think that it's.
When when the plane landed in Venezuela via New York, it was Marseille, Paris, New York, Venezuela. In Venezuela, I remember I got airplane sick, and the minute the guy opened the door in Maracaibo, I voted on vomited on him. He had a brand new white uniform. Anyway, in Venezuela, I was sent to a Catholic school run by Spanish priests, and I went there for about a year. My parents decided to go to the island of Aruba, which is a Dutch island, and we went there for a couple of years. Oh, in Venezuela, by the way, we met that famous Papillon, the one that made that famous movie in Maracaibo. He had been married to an Indian. Now we're in Aruba. I went to the Dutch school there. We spent about a year there before we left for the United States.
What about the snakes in Venezuela?
The what?
The snakes in Venezuela. You were on
Yeah, the
a.
place. Yeah, Venezuela. We lived in the woods and we had snakes that would eat our neighbors' chickens. So we finally got a rifle and got rid of them.
What about the praying? When you used to pray.
Yeah, and in Venezuela, I was going to a Catholic school, and we didn't have a lot of money, and my father didn't have a job. We didn't have a house, so I prayed to Mary, and whatever I asked Mary, we would get. I had a connection.
Um, and then you went to Aruba.
Yeah, I already told that. We lived there for a year until we came to the States. We landed in.
One thing I remember about Aruba is the steel drums. You told me about the steel drums, the steel drum players.
Oh,
I thought that
yeah.
was cool.
Yeah, Aruba had workers from Trinidad, and they would do their drum music. And I remember if they started the music and the police wouldn't stop them, they wouldn't go to work. They'd drum for a couple of days. That was Aruba.
So you went to Aruba, and then from Aruba
To the
to
United States.
to
We went to
New Jersey, right?
yeah, the first day was New Jersey. I went to Princeton High School. I played soccer for Princeton High School. And we spent a year there. Then we moved to Pennsylvania. We spent another year. My father was growing flowers in Woodside, Pennsylvania. Then we went to Jacksonville. My father worked in a shipyard in Jacksonville.
But you saw Einstein, right, in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, when we were in New Jersey, we saw Einstein in Princeton, New Jersey, walking the streets.
And also, you used to run with a boxer in New Jersey.
Yeah, I trained with the boxer from Puerto Rico.
Um, and then you came back. You came down here.
I went to Robert E. Lee High School, and I couldn't figure out, I couldn't live with the segregation they had, and I told them that basically I couldn't follow that rule, and they said if I didn't like it, I could go back to France. If I didn't like the way people lived in the States, I should go back to France. Anyway, after high school, I tried to join the Coast Guard Academy, the Merchant Marine Academy, and they said no, I was French. So I tried to join the Navy. They told me no, I was French. And so I joined the Army. While I was in the Army, they sent me to Germany, and I ran track for the U.S. Army Olympic team. I trained and went to Berlin, the stadium that Hitler built in 1936, where Jesse Owens won 3 gold medals. Anyway, my coach wanted me to run the 800 meters, and I didn't qualify. My specialty was the 1500 meters. After my stay in Germany, I got orders to go to OCS, which is the Officers Candidate School. And I didn't want to be an officer. They would have sent me to Vietnam, and I didn't want to go to war anymore. So I got out and went to Georgia Tech. I ran track and cross country there. I worked for the Coca-Cola company, but I still couldn't make ends meet, so I switched to Florida. And there I studied architecture. I got married. I got my daughter, and I graduated from the School of Architecture. There I went to Europe and worked for a Belgian architect, and one of my jobs was to put an addition to the Prince of Belgium. He was the son of the king who had, yeah, who was the son of the king. Then after Germany, I went back, came back to the States, and I worked in Jacksonville. I worked in Pensacola. Pensacola, I was making a lot of money driving a Porsche, taking all the girls working in banks a ride. I was driving a Porsche, and they loved to ride in my Porsche with a French driver. I eventually went to the Ozarks and lived with the Craft Dodgers, and we grew marijuana. They grew marijuana with corn on top of them, so the marijuana plants cannot be seen under the corn plants. And we had during the holidays, like the 4th of July, we had big parties in the nude. I was the oldest guy there. It was fun.
What about your bicycle ride from?
That was after the Ozarks. I went to Vancouver, Canada, and bought a bicycle and drove a bicycle from Vancouver all the way to Mexico. Then I went over the mountains to Yuma and got a job in Tucson building adobe houses. After stayed there a while, I ran long distance, and I ran into a model that wanted to come to Georgia, so she had a Volkswagen, so we put a sign on the Volkswagen, just married, and went to Georgia. And from Georgia, I came to Jacksonville Beach. And there I worked again and did oceanfront homes. And
What about when you worked at UNF? You worked as a professor at UNF too, right?
yeah, I worked when I came back from Arizona. I worked before I opened my office. I worked for the university. For the school board for a little while until I came to the beach and opened my office. I did houses for the very rich, 12,000 square foot homes.
And then you when you were a professor at UNF, you were a Panther, right?
Oh yeah, there we tried to close the University of Florida because the the army killed 4 students north of there, and I went to see the school, the president of the school to see if we could close the school, and he said no. So I joined the White Panthers, and we were able to close water at all the boys' dorms and at the University of Florida, uh, uh, at the University of Florida school that had a swimming pool, they had a bowling alley, and so forth.
What about you? You were asked to fight in the war, in a war, another war. You were asked. France asked you to fight
Yeah,
in a
friends
war.
asked me to go to report to go to work in Algeria, and I said no, I've already been in the army. And they said, well, the U.S. Army doesn't count. I said no, I can't go in the service anymore. I've done that.
And then you were asked to go to Israel too, right?
Yeah, while I was in Florida, a Jewish student wanted me to go to Israel to fight for them, and I said no, I didn't want to fight for anybody. What else? Right
Did you?
now, I'm retired. I'm 86, and the United States asked France to bomb Iraq, and France said no, they didn't want to bomb and kill Arabs. So the United States made France an enemy, so I'm an enemy here.
What
Yeah,
about you? What about your bicycle trip too? I don't think that you said anything about that.
Aaron doesn't think I mentioned my bicycle trip when I went to Arkansas to uh, Vancouver and got a bicycle and drove all the way to Mexico, and then I rode the bike over the mountains to Yuma. I ended up in Tucson working.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I
I
did
remember
that.
that. I remember that. But
Yeah,
I just remember more about Mexico, I think, when you went to Mexico. But
yeah,
that's okay. And then you met Jay Leno, right? You met Jay Leno.
yeah. I met Jay Leno at the night. He wanted to know what high school I got my wife because she looks much younger than I did.
And Juan Torres. You met Juan Torres.
Who?
You met Juan Torres.
Yeah, while in Cuba, I went to Cuba before Castro died because it was a fine to go to Cuba. But there I met Juan Torrena. He won the gold medal in the 800 meters twice. He was arranging a little race to commemorate the arrival of Castro. Castro was well liked in Cuba, and I liked the Cubans.
Your brother-in-law is Cuban, right?
Yeah, my brother-in-law is Cuban. He was in the Bay of Pig Invasion, and they landed there, and the U.S. Navy promised that they would give them air support. They would bomb air support, and President Kennedy decided he changed his mind and never did. So the Cubans that were there don't like Kennedy or the U.S. government,
He was a
and they were there. They were sent to back to the state for medical supplies.
freedom fighter, right? I guess a freedom fighter.
Yeah, he was a freedom
Freedom
fighter.
fighter. Um, that's about it.
Yeah, now
This might not be the last time.
now I'm like I said, the French are the enemy here, so maybe they'll send me back to France, and I'll take
I
my son.
I bet you that he would go, but you served and you get benefits. I mean, you get some benefits. I mean, not that
No, I don't get
not
any
that we,
benefits. I just get Social Security. Everybody gets that.
but you get like the number one reason we're probably here is because medical, right?
No, we have medical in Puerto Rico and in the Virgin Islands, everywhere in the states. Yeah, we could go. They have medical help for GIs
So you're here
in
mostly
Puerto Rico.
for work.
Sir?
For work, then we're here for work mostly. Here for work.
No, for work I don't get anything for work. Just Social Security.
You get a little work though. You get some work.
No, I don't
Right?
get anything from work, Aaron.
You get some work. I mean, people come and sign.
Oh,
You
but
sign
not
for
anymore.
a little bit. John came in the other day, right?
Yeah, once
My brother comes in, right?
your
So,
brother. So I make $50 a month. I'm sorry to mention that.
oh come on. You gotta. You get. You. It's better than that. I mean,
Sometimes it's
I bet
only
you.
$50. Sometimes it's nothing.
And then.
Sometimes it's 300.
And then we rent that space to my brother. So,
We're not renting anything. He's not paying us.
but we have. We have space. I could rent you a space, or something, but that's okay though. We don't need it. We don't need it.
We haven't rented
Don't need it.
anything. Okay, that's it.
All right. God bless everybody. I just wanted you to hear, what I've been tweeting. That's all. Really, that's what the point of this is. And like I say, the glory is God's really. I believe the glory is God's really. And I wanted you to hear about the praying that he was talking about, that he was doing in Venezuela and stuff like that. I thought that was good. And what you're out of all your friends, you and John are about the only two, right? Out of all your friends you went to high school with, you
Oh
and
yeah,
John.
most of them are dead.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
just a few.
Not doing too bad.
Most of them.
I bet you that we're not doing too bad.
And my draftsman committed suicide. John. That's it.
Yeah. We bought a place with many acres. I don't know.
12 acres.
And we lived out there. And then I bet you came back here for work. Basically, is why we came back.
Yeah, trying to sell it.
We had to drive it. We had to drive around a lot, so we sold it to come back.
My neighbor said.
No, please, I don't want to. Well,
he doesn't want to mention that.
Please don't mention that. No, this is. I beg you, we can't get away with that though because it's a cuss word. But then it's it, and then your adjustment committed suicide. So adjustment committed suicide. Not that he'd be bringing in a whole lot of work anyways. Anyways, God bless everybody. I just wanted you to hear what I've been tweeting. Hear it for yourself. That's all. And I bet you that the glory is God's, and I ask God that He would even go along with it because it wasn't. We did this more than once. So anyway, so God bless everybody.